Good morning, everyone. So, before I just start the class, I just want to give a quick introduction of RPA. I know that we have gathered here to understand what UiPath is and how that is going to benefit our career. But before I jump into the UiPath tool, so we'll try to understand what robotics process automation is and how UiPath as a tool provides RPA services. So, how many people know what actually RPA stands for? I mean, like everyone knows it's robotic process automation, but what does it exactly mean? So, robotics process automation means that you are providing a service which will automate a manual work. See, so as an IT employee, we day-to-day life do a lot of manual work, right? Let us start with something simple. I go to my office first thing in the morning. I fill up my timesheet, which I do it every morning. I spend around 10 minutes of my time trying to fill up my timesheet. Probably I'll gather up my colleagues' timesheets also. I'll consolidate them all that into a single area, single file, or and then I send it to my supervisor. So I am spending some X effort in consolidating or collecting the timesheets of my colleagues and sending it to my manager. That is a manual effort that I am putting on repetitive work. It's a repetitive work, right? Daily I'm doing that. Or I am daily opening some assets. Okay, you guys mute if you're not willing to talk because I have seen I'm trying to mute you guys, but you're unmuting and then talking again. Right. Thanks. So uh, I also once I'm done with filling the timesheets, probably I'll go into some SAP application, get the current data, export that into a file, do some macros or some data processing, and then finally save that file into a shared drive. I'm spending some other 40 to 45 minutes there. So these are something that I'm doing on a daily basis, some repetitive steps. Probably some of the values will be different or minor actions will be different, but these are the manual repetitive tasks I'm doing on a daily basis. Now, rather than me doing it, I came up with an idea to write a script which will automatically do that. Some VB scripting or .NET or some native language I have taken and then I started writing it. I've written an automated script which will automatically do that work for me. Now that is what is called as an automation. So, robotic process automation is you're trying to identify what are the repetitive tasks that you are doing in a day-to-day life and automating them, ultimately leading to saving some manual effort, right? So, as an RPA, you target bigger business areas where a lot of manual work is involved. If you take one for example, see, if you take a big company like Amazon, Snapdeal, Flipkart, these people are tech retail kinds who do a lot of transactions per day, right? How many people shop in Amazon? Somewhere around lakhs of people. And if you when you take 1% of them as failure, let us say that I'm trying to order something in Amazon and there is a failure there or whatever the order got failed. Now I'll raise a request or raise a complaint to the customer care, right? So there will be an employee in that Amazon who will be working on your complaint, trying to get the refund for you. All right. Now there will be hundreds of people. Now there will be hundreds of people, employees working in Amazon, who are processing the complaints raised by the customers, initiating the refund, placing the order again, verifying whether the item is. So these are repetitive tasks, right? All they do is get into the database. They'll check whether your account information is genuine, whether your auto status is really failure, and they'll check what is the payment transaction type, and go to that particular relevant transaction, and then revoke the refund. All right. So these kind of business processes which have a linear structure or a linear process flow which you automate is called robotic process automation. Okay, so UiPath is one of the RPA tool which provides the services to automate. See, when I say that you are writing some script, you can write that in JavaScript, you can write that in VB script, you can write it in .NET or any other programming language as well. The only catch is that before these RPA tools exist, UiPath, Blue Prism, automation, and where the amount of code you have to write to automate a simple task used to be heavy. You used to The reason why you automate something is to gain some time, gain some profit out of it. But the kind of code you are writing is so heavy that there is no profit that you are getting from it. Just for automating a simple 10 minutes task, you used to spend a week or 2 weeks just to write that code, which used to lead to no output. So the UiPath Prism came up with a tool which lets you write that code without using any programming language, rather than using drag and drop and go. And in such a short span, you'll be able to automate higher processes in just a week or two. So let us try to have a look at this tool and try to understand how you can automate a certain process and how it is different from other RPA tools. Okay, so there are two versions of UiPath. One is an UiPath community version, and then there is a professional enterprise version. Community version is free to download. You can download it from uipath.com and then install it yourselves. It's not like a trial version. You can keep using it forever as long as you keep renewing that you're saying that you're active. Every 1 month or 2 months, you'll get a pop-up saying, are you still active? If you just press yes, then you can still continue. The only limitations of community version is you cannot deploy them. You can develop, you can write your code, you can execute everything. You cannot deploy that as commercially into a server and then keep on running it. So that is a major difference between this and enterprise edition. So enterprise edition are only for commercial purposes. Community edition is only for personal use, for learning. So let us start with something simple. So this is how the UiPath tool looks like. I said you do not have to write any piece of code. It's mostly drag and drop. So what are you dragging and dropping? We are dragging and dropping activities. Like, what do you do as usually as part of your IT in any machine? You try to send emails, you try to write something into an Excel file, you try to write something, execute something into a database, you try to work against a Windows-based application, or you try to work against a browser, right? So anything you're doing as part will be involving against an application or some kind of major to minor applications. Like it could be a notepad, a no folder, file explorer, Excel file, database, PDF, or it could be heavy applications like SAP, Salesforce, mainframes as well. Right, so you are working against an application. So to your left side contains activities against these Windows or web-based applications. So you have activities related to Excel as well. You have activities related to database. You have activities related to email. You have activities related to Notepad. So all that's are present to your left side. All you have to do is, let us say that you have to write something into a Notepad. They ought to automate. Just daily you come in the morning, you write the date into the Notepad and then you save it. That is some kind of attendance kind of thing. So you have that option here where you have an option to write into a Notepad as well. Okay, so the website contains all the activities that you want to use as part of your daily work, and this is where you drag and drop the area. This is called a workspace. So in this workspace, you will drag and drop that activity, and the moment you drag and drop that activity's properties will be loaded onto your right side. So your right cell is you're writing that into an Excel file into a certain cell. Which cell you want to write that into? What is the sheet name? What is the text you want to write? You need to fill these values, and that when you try to execute, so in that particular sheet, in that particular cell, this value will be written in that particular workbook. If that Excel file has a password, it'll also you also need to specify the password. So the activities will be present here. The activity should be dropped to here, and the activity properties will be present to your right side. This is the layout of the UiPath tool. Clear. So let us start with something simple. We'll not get into Excel notepad in the day one itself. We'll start with something simple. We will try to okay. So we'll try to find a list value of two numbers, and then we will write that file. We'll write that answer into a notepad. We'll create a new notepad into the desktop. Yes.
Then one more question. So what we call that above part, that start, design, execute, setup part?
So see, the design part that will help you to write the code in. Okay. So execute part is where you execute the code that we have written. You can set breakpoints, you can debug, everything is done at the execute part. Setup part is where you can modify the settings. So we'll get to that eventually. Okay.
What we call that actually in that left side that is activities, middle that is workspace, right that is
Those are
properties.
called
What
panels.
we call that above one?
Each one is called as a panel. This is called as a menu. As
Menu.
a
Okay.
yes, as any tool will have in the top, that's what is called as a menu. Clear?
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So anyways, so we are in the design part now. We haven't got to the execute. We haven't written anything so far. So I said we'll try to write something. We'll try to calculate the difference of two numbers, and we'll try to write that into a notepad. See, I'm trying to calculate the difference of two numbers, right? So to calculate the difference of two numbers, I need to store two numbers into variables. So what is a variable? Variable is a kind of a storage place which stores the values that you want to perform any operations on. Alright, you can't simply find the difference of two numbers. You have to first store them into variables. Alright, so to create a variable, you can use option create variable number. So I'll call that variable name as x. You can get it from here as well. So, and the variable type is int32. See,
Hi Jaya,
yeah.
can you just repeat this one from where you have started this?
You mean the UiPath application itself?
No, I think he is asking about sequence. How you started the sequence? Why you started the sequence?
See, when you're writing the code in UiPath, right, there are two ways to write this code. You can write this in a sequential manner, or you can write this in a flowchart manner. Okay. See, there are certain people who are migrating to UiPath either from the automation anyway tool or from the Blue Prism tool. So UiPath came in the later stages, and there are automation anyway developers who are planning to move into UiPath. There are Blue Prism developers who are planning to move into UiPath. There are people who are new to RPA itself are trying to learn UiPath. So the problem here we have is automation anywhere code looks like a set of lines. Your Blue Prism code looks like a flowchart. and UiPath wanted to give that benefit to both the developers to learn easily. So it has given two options to write the code. You can write the code either in a sequence or you can write the code either in a flowchart. Okay, so you first you need to specify in what pattern you are trying to write the code, in a sequence or in a flowchart. If you want to write the code in a sequence, first you need to drag and drop the sequence. So this is the first step. So whatever code you're writing should be written in the sequence box. If you want to write the code in a flowchart, you need to specify that, hey, I want to write the code in flowchart. So you just need to drag and drop the flowchart. Whatever code you are writing should be written in the flowchart code. Obviously, we'll be exploring both the options in this class. I just wanted to start with something and then show the other one as well. Clear?
Yeah, means what I understand, you trying to say that to begin with sequence is easy for beginners, right?
I didn't say that. I said we can start with neither of that. I'm starting with sequence.
Okay, fine.
So sequence will be easy for the people who are coming from automation anywhere. Flowchart will be easy for people who are coming from Blue Prism path. People who are new can start with either of that. Since for them they
Okay.
already accustomed to one of the approach, it will be easy for them to transit to Blue path. As a beginner, if you want to learn, I would probably go with the flowchart because from a look and feel perspective, it is easy. So, sequential also will be easy for certain ways. I wanted to show you in what areas sequence is easy and what areas flowchart is easy. We'll cover both the ones now. So you get to decide which is easy for yourself. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So I can start with the flowchart as well since I have already dragged and dropped it. See, my first step is to find the difference of two numbers. So I am to create first two variables. So I'm creating one variable called as x and other variable called as y. So I'm creating a variable x and the variable type is a number. So I'm choosing int32. I'm creating another variable y. This is another number. I'm choosing int32. I'm giving them two numbers, 20 and 15. I want to find the difference of these two numbers. So people who already attended the demo Saturday, I have already specified that the difference of two numbers can be found by using the assign action or assign activity. What does assign do? Assign
Jay,
assigns.
before that, what is the purpose of using that flow chart or something?
So when you're writing the code, you need to specify the UI path in what pattern you're writing it. If you have to specify it. That's how the UI will form. So you need to specify whether it's a flowchart or sequence. If you're not specifying, the UI path would not understand which format you want to show the code to. That's a mandatory step.
Hello, Jayant. I have one question.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe irrelevant, but is this the first class, or did I miss anything?
This is a first class.
Okay, was there any other introductory section or something like that? Because I received an email that this would be the first class, and actually I opted for automation anywhere.
Okay, I'm not aware of that, but this is a UI path and class one. There hasn't been any class before that. There was a demo, but again, I'm starting from scratch.
Oh, okay.
The demo has happened last week now, and I have seen a lot of people joining new today, more than 70% apart from the demo. So I'm
Okay.
starting from scratch. Irrespective, people who already actually came for the demo are actually hearing this for the second time. The entire thing.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah. So automation anywhere, I don't think this is a class, but if you want to get into automation anywhere specifically, just reach out to Visualpath. Clear? They'll probably
Okay.
it's a different class happening in a different timing. They might have sent you a wrong GoToMeeting email, probably.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So when did you start this?
This is the first class.
No, I mean time.
I started around exactly at 8:30.
Oh, okay. Okay, thanks. Yeah.
Okay. Alright, guys. So to find the difference of these two values, I have to use assign action or assign activity. So just drag and drop the assign activity right on the start. So when you to UiPath, you're saying something like start, assign x minus y to z. So you're trying to find the difference between x minus y, and whatever value you're getting, you're telling it to assign that value to z. So when you write that action, you get an error saying that there is no variable called as z. So obviously you need to create another variable called z and declare that as int32. So if there is no exclamatory blue mark, that means there is no error in the code. So when I execute now, so if you go to execute, there are two ways to execute. Either you can click on run or you can click on debug. So when you click on the run, it will minimize the path. Okay. I think the robot service is not present. Just give me a minute. The service is just give me a second.
What is
Yeah,
this action you do?
I'm sorry, can you repeat?
Yeah, I'm saying that what is this action you are doing? Like apart from that screen, you just move to somewhere other screen.
I don't want to tell this on the class one. We have something called as orchestrator, UiPath robot, and UiPath studio. I want to start with what studio is, because this is again something that I'll be covering in the future classes. Just bear with me. So we have UiPath robot service that hasn't started. Let me just quickly start this. See, okay. It's connected. So any RPA tool has 5 different structures. One is called as a client, control room, a service, an administrative area, a release manager. So again, it comes under architecture of RPA. First, you should understand what UiPath tool is and how it looks like before I get into the architecture part. Now, this UiPath Studio is called as a client. The robot is called as a service. The orchestrator that we open. Since that you asked, I just show you. So this is called as an orchestrator, where the administrative and release manager are present. So we'll talk about all this eventually for coming classes. Let's just focus on how the code is written actually in UiPath Studio. Clear? So
Hi, Jen, this is Avinash. 1 second. So, in the demo class, you were explaining the same process using a sequence, the scope was sequence, and now the scope was a flowchart. So, are you going to explain what is used for what in the classes?
obviously I'll be covering both the ones.
Yes, but what is used for what that you'll be telling us in later portions, right?
So technically speaking, whatever can be written in a sequence can be written in a flowchart and the other way around as well.
Okay.
There is something specific like these are the ones I should write in flowchart, these are the ones I should write in sequence. There is no such thing.
Okay, because I'm thinking like in flowchart, maybe you can go back and forth, and I don't think
Even
that's
in flow sequential, you can use it by using do while loop back and
okay.
forth.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right, guys. Getting back here. So there are two ways to execute. Either you click on the run button or you can click on the debug button. When you click on the run button, it minimizes the UiPath output and executes that. Otherwise, if you click on the debug button, it runs directly here itself. Okay. So it calculated the x minus y value and it stored that value into the z. However, I'm not able to see that value anywhere because I'm not projecting that value anywhere. Okay. What I want to do is I want to write that z value into a notepad so that I can open that notepad and see it. Okay. Now, how do I write that z value into notepad is there are activities based for notepad as well. If I type write here, you can see there are list of activities coming which have write associated with it. write line, write cell, write range. So we have something called as a write text file. The name is self-explanatory. You can understand that write text file will do write that into a text file. So just drag and drop that write text files activity onto your workspace. Just right below it, if you click on here, it will automatically map it and then shows. I said this is the activity. The activities properties will be your right side. So the activity has certain properties. One is what is the file name, in which particular file you want to write that, and second is what is the text you want to write it into. Okay, so first I need to specify the file name including the full path. Okay, so I want to create a new notepad in desktop. What I will do is let me create a new folder. So I create a folder called 123. I want UiPath to create a file here and write it here. So what I'll do is I'll just use this. So this is a text notepad that I want to write my Z value into. Okay, so and the value of text I want to write is a Z value. And the moment I write Z here, it gives me an error stating that only the string information should be written into the notepad. However, my Z is an integer. So if you click on this box also, it says that only the string should be written into the notepad, not any other data type. So I need to convert this int32 into a string. So I can convert this variable by using toString option. So what am I doing? I'm writing the Z value into this particular notepad. So when I execute this one, you can actually see a notepad got created and then the Z value of 5 has been written. 20 minus 15.
How that string option will bring?
Can you repeat?
Yeah, I'm asking that how the string option will come, like where to convert, how to do that.
So all you need to see, let us say this is the variable, you need to keep dot to string. So when you type dot, you will get the list of options. So you need to convert that to string. So from the list of options that you get, you just need to select to string. That's it. Clear? So any variable you are typing, if you specify dot, the related actions will automatically come. So do you want to compare it with y variable, or do you want to match that with something else equals? Okay. So whatever action you want to do, you can use. Clear?
Yeah, means that where we need to publish the result, we have to create a file or something. We give that location here and convert that into string, then the result will publish there, right?
Exactly. So that is what the write text file activity is for. You are writing that into a text file. If the text file is already present, you'll write into it. If it is not present, it will create one new one and then write into it. So if you remember that this text file does not exist before, it automatically created that and has written to it.
Okay.
Because in the path is specified log.txt in the file name.
Mm-hmm.
Clear?
Yeah.
So not just a text file, every application that we use, that related activities are there. There are browser related ones. There are Excel related.
So for suppose I have to that save in a word, then I have to put that log dot word or something.
For the word, its extension is dot document dot doc.
Okay, DOC. Okay, fine. Yeah.
Okay. So all the applications related activities will be present automatically here. Can you see? For Word also there is add image, append text. For Word document also we have to all end uses use append text under Word. Okay, read the text from Word file. Every application use database we have. So as a daily part of daily day activity, whatever applications are using, all that are present. Writing and inserting, update, all the CRUD operations you can do as well. So obviously we'll be learning all these activities. We can what UiPath can do, what UiPath cannot do, or what as an RPA tool can and cannot do. First, you should be aware of that. The only problem with UiPath is it has around 300 plus activities. So obviously it is not humanly possible to memorize all of those activities, and you should not even try. If you can see here, right, we have Excel, CSV file, PDF, XPS, database, FTP, email, web, Word, terminal application, and we also have Windows web as well, Windows application as well. You can see all the
So, Jayan, suppose just we are using the trial version which is available in for UiPath
It's not
site.
trial version, it's community edition, which there is
Okay.
no specific trial. Yeah,
So in that, in all these options will come, or we need to do
exactly the
something.
same will be there. There is no difference from a design perspective. What the code you are writing is there are no limitations in that. When you are deploying into a server to execute it or to schedule it, you will not have that option.
Okay.
You will be able to run it, you will be able to write the code. You cannot deploy that commercially into a server and then execute it daily.
Mm-hmm.
Clear?
Okay. Okay. So that thing means whether that thing will matter in future. Like suppose we are means appearing somewhere, some interview or something. Does these things will matter anywhere? Like they ask or
Means the ones that are lacking.
yeah, means that deploying server or something. Those thing
That
is
is also
required.
present in here. It will not let you do it, but the actions are still present. I can show you.
Okay.
I can show you how
Okay.
to deploy everything. But when you go and actually deploy, nothing happens. It was
Yeah.
supposed to run, but it will
Okay.
not run. But still, the
Okay.
actions are present here.
Okay.
Clear?
The process we can understand, but that will not work, right?
That will not work, but still it's present here. The only difference is it will execute there, it will not execute. The execution part, you can anyways click on the run and see how it executing. Clear?
Okay. Fine.
Yeah. See, the same kind of code I can write it in sequence as well. What I'm currently doing is I'm deleting this code. People, I know that we have not seen the flowchart. This is how the flowchart would look like. So the same thing I can do it in sequence as well. So all I have to do is drag and drop the sequence, write the same steps. Nothing else is different. From a code perspective, whatever you're doing in here, you'll be doing in sequence as well. You're not learning anything new, but how the code is shown will be different. In the sequence, my first step is still assign only. This is how the code will look like. It's just that look and feel is different. The how you're doing is the same. So you're not learning actually two different types of things. You're learning only one, but the way it is shown will be different. So again, I'm creating three variables, X, Y, and Z. All three are in 32. So assign X minus Y to Z. My next step is writing this value into a notepad. So again, write text file is the action. You can see the looks will feel different. What is the file name? The log.txt. This is my file name. And what is the text I want to write? The Z. Again, when you type Z, you will get an error saying only string should be written, not the int. So you should use .toString. But when I execute this, you go back to log, and they can see timestamp is 97. It just got written with the new value 0. I have not specified any variable here, values for this variable, so it has taken as 0. So if I specify something like 99 and 88 and execute this again and go back and write, you can see the 11 has come. It's how the code will be seen will be a bit different. If you see there is no start, there are no lines which attach. Okay, so it's just that if I open my blue prism and show you, this is how the blue prism code looks like. You can see it's similar to a bit flowchart. That is the reason why they have given two options, so it will be easy to migrate for the other developers already into that. Just a static, vision static, but the kind of code you're writing, did you find any difference? All we are doing is again we are using the same step of actions. Is that how the code is shown is a bit different. The execution perspective, everything else still is the same. Any questions so far?
Yeah, Jain, whatever that the context has been given by the visual path, you will follow on the same, or it will be like as per that how this it will be easy. You will follow that.
I was the one who gave that context to them, so obviously I'll be following that.
Okay, okay.
So the context, in fact, to be hardly speaking, the context I gave them was around a year ago during my first UiPath class. So I did not give them the updated version, so it's a kind of an outdated one. So whatever context that you have got, more than that I'll be covering. Probably XLS database is not present in that. PowerShell script execution is not present in that. There's something that I've added in the later classes. I have been teaching UiPath for last 17 classes. Blue Prism I have been teaching for last 30 plus classes since May 2016. I have been teaching there in Visualpath RPA. So I have not updated the UiPath's context to them. So they might be giving you the outdated one. I have added a lot of other topics on top of that. What you got? Clear?
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So this is one way to write the code. We also have something called as a record option. If you go back to design, right? So record is something like it lets you record the actions that you are doing and it will replicate that. How you can do a video recording, you can actually do the work recording as well. Let us say that you are doing a repetitive work. I'll take one for example. So let us say that I'm working as a bank employee where I'll be working with this application called as AnyTeller. Let me see, where is it? Okay, there are a lot of icons. So this is my application AnyTeller. So what I'll do is I get an Excel file where I'll be writing this information and then clicking on the accept button. Okay, so this is application I launched. I fill in some random values, 500, 2500.
Means you are doing a deposit activity, right?
I'm doing deposit activity. I'm clicking on the accept. Now I want UiPath to do these steps. So what I can do is I can opt for a record option. So click on one of you guys can be out. Thanks. Okay. So we have an option called as recording. Click on that recording option. And I am doing a basic recording. Okay. So my first thing I'm doing is starting this application called as AnyTeller. So I need to tell UiPath to first start that application. So click on start application. And I need to specify which application I need to start. So I need to specify to UiPath, start this application. So click on that window. This application I want to start. So this is the path of that exe file. Yes, correct. I'll verify if it's correct or not. I click on OK. And now start recording. Click on the record button and start doing whatever you want. So first I need to fill this value. So click on the text box and write what is the value you want to type. 1500 I want to type. Press enter. Next I want to write here 2500 I want to type. Press enter. Next I want to type here 110. Press enter. And then finally click on the accept button. Once you are done with recording, press escape and then choose save and exit. The moment you click on the save and exit, the code automatically gets generated. You can see here. Now when I close this application and execute this, when I click on the run option, the execute when I click on the run, the run option is present in both the areas for the convenience they give, but when I click on the run option, you can see that application is there and then it did it for us. Automatically it has finished. Let me run it once again. So it recorded what you are doing and automatically has given. Let us say you want to change those values. It's not 1500, 250 and 110. It is 150, 25 and 11. Let us say in future something got changed and you want to change. All you have to do is instead of 1500 here, you just need to go and then change it to 150, 25 and 11. So you're specifying what should be written into these text boxes. So you can tweak the way you want. Now if you execute this, it'll write those values instead. We can record the work we are doing and we can execute as well. Again, this is the easy approach. This is not the actual one we'll be doing, but there is a way we can record also, which is exclusive to UiPath and automation anyway. Your Blueprint does not have this feature. So it kind of varies from one tool to another. So we also will be seeing how we actually write manually as well, rather than recording option in further classes. But this is how you can automate an application. That is what I wanted to show. My sole purpose is whatever work you're doing, you can record it and then you can let it play as well by tweaking in the values. The complexity will increase when you have decisions, when you have calculation learning logic, when you have higher volume to process. So according to the complexity increase, the kind of code you're writing will also increase, and that's where you need to put a lot of effort to start writing the code in your path. Clear?
One thing just need to ask, though it is an initial and it's very early time to ask this. Like suppose we are doing some simple case on onboarding a customer in a bank site. So
Okay.
many third-party integrations are also there because from there also data coming like his address verification, his credit check verification, many things are there. So in
Yeah.
that case, how this tool can support those activities?
See, what you're saying is it is interacting with multiple underlying applications, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, correct.
you can do that as well. So not just one application. I can interact with multiple applications simultaneously. I can switch back against these applications. I can write in logic. See, something like the process will be something like if a customer is from Hyderabad, write into this application. If the customer is from this particular postal code, write into that application. If the customer already has an existing account, write into this. There are certain layered logic flow also. You can even input that here. It's not a straight line. It's like a Y junction, or it's a zigzag one. It's a zigzag process flow. Even that kind of logic can be written into the UiPath as well. Clear?
Yeah, yeah, okay.
We obviously will be looking into that. We'll take one of the complex scenarios and I'll be showing you how it can be done. Okay.
Yes.
So what can UiPath do? What kind of applications it can do and what it cannot do? We'll have a quick look.
Hello, Jay.
Yeah, hi, tell me.
Is there any prerequisite language to automate this UiPath? Like Selenium, we need any Java or .NET or something like that?
For UiPath, I wouldn't specifically say that you need any programming language, but having .NET is an advantage to know.
Okay.
This is built on .NET architecture. So the toString and all what you're seeing is actually something .NET. inherited from the .NET programming language. So it will be easy for you to understand if you are already a .NET, if you're with the .NET basics.
So if I do not have the .NET knowledge, then do I need to learn
Still you
or?
can no, still you can understand. Still you can learn your path. Doesn't matter. You just have an advantage. That's it.
Okay. And one more thing, suppose if I miss any class, how can I get it back?
So probably Visualpath hasn't stated you, but they give you every recordings daily. Every class recording daily they'll give you. So today's recording will be provided to you tomorrow, and tomorrow's will
Okay.
be provided tomorrow, and so on. So if you miss one or two classes, you can always refer the video before joining the class.
Okay. 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 Thank you.
So Jayant, it is this class will means this month will up to this month, or it will be like next week, I think,
It's
or
a
next week.
25 classes duration. So I know that I say 1 month, but see, this is December is an exception because we have a couple of holidays as well. So think of this as 25 working classes, 25 hours, each class containing an hour. So that if I say 1 month, it could be beyond that because of the holidays we have in December. We
Okay,
will have
means
it for
1 week or
holidays.
5 10 days can be like of next month, right?
Exactly. So somewhere in the first week of January, we will finish. First or mid of second week. So,
Okay,
okay.
fine. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
considering Christmas, your New Year and all in picture, I'm not specifying 1 month. It could be beyond that because of the holidays. It's 25 classes. I always go with the number. Okay.
Okay,
But other
okay.
months I just say directly because there will not be those many holidays as we have in December. So okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Correct.
So what kind of applications can UiPath interact with? It can interact with Excel, Notepad, database, PDF files, Word files, Citrix applications, mainframe applications, Word, web, Windows. Pretty much as an employee also we probably interact with these applications only. I don't think we are going anything beyond this. So these kind of applications we'll be automating against. We'll also practice against as well. We'll take one project from Windows based application which has Windows and Excel involved. We take one project from web and database and PDF. We take one project with Citrix application. So we'll be covering all this and try to learn how UiPath can be effective against automating these applications. What it cannot: Java based applications, non.exe applications. See, most of the applications we know are from exe based only, but non-dot applications like SWF, .swf, Flash applications, .msi, sandbox applications. These are not compatible. You, yeah,
Then mostly Java-based applications are widely seen, or
because it cannot capture the controls. That's how we
okay.
got. Okay.
So, for Java-based application, can Blue Prism is handle that, or
We have
what?
something called as Java Access Bridge in Blue Prism, which lets you
Mhm.
capture the control in Java mode, which UiPath is currently lacking a bit on.
Okay, okay.
Okay. However, obviously Blue Prism also has some of the limitations. When you talk about them, your Blue Prism does not support PDF.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And
Okay,
when you
so
talk about
what
web,
is
right, Blue Prism does not support Chrome. However, your UiPath has both Internet Explorer and Chrome compatibility. Your Blue Prism
okay,
can only automate Internet Explorer based applications, not Chrome based. Okay. So both have pros and cons.
okay, okay. So, is it a big like
Hello.
I mean that is it a big limitation for this, like for this because not handling the Java application?
It's because that they have not provided their functionality into that yet. See, when I say it cannot interact with Java based application, there are still workarounds. You can pass send keys and mouse. It's not practically impossible, but it's just
Okay.
that it's not a robust way of doing. Even when I
Mm-hmm.
talk about Blue Prism cannot integrate with PDF, it cannot interact directly how UiPath does, but there are still workarounds you can do it with.
Okay.
You can
Okay.
use iText Sharp DLL, or you can convert that into a word and then read it. So there are still workarounds. It's not practically impossible. Okay.
Okay.
So in this particular scenario, what we do is we treat Java as a Citrix based application, and we use Citrix functionality against Java. In Blue Prism, we directly have Java interaction. Okay.
Jayant, do you have Citrix any setup to deal with?
Obviously, I will be covering one with Citrix as well. So I don't have Citrix environment set up, but I'll be taking a remote desktop. So I have a VM installed in VMware. So I'll be treating this as a remote OS, and then I'll be automating against it. It's pretty much the same.
Okay.
We also can it also can support on web services as well. It can consume REST. So it has that compatibility as well. It also has OCR, optimal cat recognition. So it uses Tesseract engine. The Blue Prism uses Tesseract engine. The UiPath uses three options. It has Tesseract, API, and Mobi. Microsoft, Google, and API Professional. So all the three OCR engines it has. So someone on the chat is asking, can you please tell me something on send hotkey and how to use it? So send hotkey is like you want to send keys or press keys onto an whatever wherever the cursor is present. So the send hotkey option will see whatever we have recorded here. You can do it manually also, as I said. So we have an option called as type into, which sends the text box. So if I say Alt Control Delete, which lets you lock, so I can choose that. So it sends that command onto the desktop. If I want to close something, I can use Alt F4. So something like that. So I want to send it to my desktop. If I execute this, it will automatically press Ctrl Alt Delete. Delete. Got it? That is what so to any application, if you want to send, you can send it. What I can do is I want to send Alt F4 to this application. To this application, I want to send Alt F4. So I choose this application to XYZ Bank, send Alt F4. The moment I click on run, it sends Alt F4 to this application. You can see what happens. Alt F4, it closes the window. You can see the Alt F4 has gone to that window and it automatically closed it. You are sending keys to an application. That is what a send hotkey is. Clear? So you cannot. It's not like you're typing in the text box. So Alt F4 it closes the specified window. That's what it did, right? So if you want to maximize, let us say that have an Excel file. Okay, I want to maximize this using send case. Now, how do you maximize an application? Either you can click on the maximize button, or you also can type Windows up. The Windows up will also maximize. So I can send Windows up to Excel application. So I'm telling send Windows up to this Excel application. So automatically when execute, that Windows up will come and automatically it will expand. Can you see? Now what happens when I type Windows left key? It arranges itself to the left side. Now that if you want to replicate, if that you want to replicate, so now in here you will specify Windows left instead. So you can send commands to an application. That is what send hotkey does. So when I type Windows left to my Excel application, it pushes to the side. Can you see? To send a particular command to an application, you will be using send hotkey client. Just that yours I specified. Type into activity, will type that into a text box. I know that you are asking a lot of questions on first class. It will just only confuse other ones as well. So type into, let us say that I want to type the something into a particular text box. Where should I type? Let us say I want to type into this particular username. Okay, so all I have to do is first I need to indicate on the screen where I have to type. So I click on this, and then what I should type? I want to type my name. Type into will type into a text box. Can you see? It typed it. To type into text box, you'll be using type into. You need to specify which text box you want to type that into. So we want to text type into a different text box, pass into password text box. Then again, and execute, like type into a password text box. Clear? Again, see, you not have to worry about all these actions on the first class. You eventually be using all this. Any other questions anyone has?
Yeah, Jayant, a little bit that time related. Can we just push this 15 minutes earlier, like because have to go office also. Uh,
I did talk to Visualpath on this. I know that in first in the demo that I have conducted on last week, also a lot of people had problems with
mhm.
8:30 batch. So I talked to Visualpath. So the problem currently we are facing is 7:30 to 8:30. I am teaching Blue Prism. So and only when 8:30 I am starting UiPath. So I said if a lot of people are concerned with it, I told them if more than 5 people reach to Visualpath for swap in the class, from next class they'll swap 7:30 8:30 will be UiPath and 8:30 9:30 will be Blue Prism. So if at least 5 of you guys reach to Visualpath, and then see, timings are something that I don't have. I cannot control. Just Visualpath comes to me and say, "Keep this class you need to teach at this time." I do that. So timings are something they usually teach. I just suggested if more than 5 people come, we can swap the class because even Blue Prism people should not feel convenient. So whoever majority is, we usually consider them. So if five of you gather and go and either call or talk to them in person, so that I want the class to be a bit early. What they can do, one thing is they can put 7 to 8 and 8 to 9 if Blue Prism is not okay with swapping, or they'll swap yours to 7:30 8:30 and 8:30 9:30 I'll teach Blue Prism. Okay, just reach to them, they'll decide on what needs to be done. Either they'll give you your class 8 to 9 slot, or they'll give it to say 7:30 8:30 slot. Clear?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, just reach to them. Okay.
Then
Anyone
one
else who wants
question.
to start this class early? And anyone else who wants to? Because I know a lot of people have their office starting by 10. My office starts at 12, so I don't mind at any given point of slot. But I know that a lot of people's office starts at 9:30 10. So for those people, I know that we have to start early. And, someone is asking some question. Any other questions anyone has? Obviously, we'll be picking up tomorrow. We'll get into our first project, try to understand the activities along with that. I also will give you a brief process flow of what the first project is, how we are going to automate. Okay, we'll be interacting with Excel, Windows, and PDF applications as part of our first project. I'll give you the process flow and start with the basics for tomorrow's class. Okay.
Okay.
Jayant,
Okay,
one
thanks,
question.
Jayant. Yeah, Jayant. I need to actually
Jayant, one
start
question.
for my office, so I'm just leaving.
Sure, sure.
Jayant,
Jayant,
can you share the class details? I mean, what are we going to cover in the next, I mean, the future? You said you want to share the
I
content.
They have not shared with you Visualpath. I gave them the context. Probably you just ask them, they'll send you a copy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Jayant, one question.
Yeah, tell me.
Likewise, in Blue Prism, you'll be having a help document, right? In the same way, where can we get the help document in UiPath?
In UiPath.com itself, you will get the documentation. Just log in and then register yourself if you're not a member, and register yourself as developer, and then inside you will get the documentation.
Can you just show me how to get that one?
So you can see these are the ones that you have. Probably have to search myself as well. I'll get you by tomorrow. Okay.
Okay.
So any other questions? Centered clipboard is something like, see, what is a clipboard? Whenever you copy something, it will get stored in clipboard, right? You can automatically set that value to clipboard rather than copying it. So what happens now is when I select this value and when I use Control C, now what does happens in that my clipboard value is set to Jayant. Now what happens when I go and paste something this in somewhere? Control V, it gets written. So what is happened is this Jayant value gets stored in clipboard. So I can automatically set the value also rather than using that. So if I use set clipboard, it will store that particular value in clipboard. So when I go somewhere and paste it, that value will automatically get pasted. So let us say that I will store 1, 2, 3 in clipboard. Now in my clipboard 1, 2, 3 got stored. Now whenever I go to notepad or Excel file, anywhere, when I try click on paste, that 1, 2, 3 will be pasted. Clear? So in my clipboard 1, 2, 3 value got stored. Wherever I click on paste. That is what set to clipboard is. Okay. So my mail ID is jayantgopa@gmail.com. Don't try to spam only when you are. Okay. All right, guys. Then let's catch up in tomorrow's class.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.